A naked Kohen-Leth is staring into a black hole displayed on the screen as the phone starts ringing. He desperately answers the call, but it is not the call he had expected. The phone rings again but his call does not arrive. Kohen leaves for work from the rundown monastery where he lives alone. Outside is a dystopian future world. Loud, dirty, bustling with people in eccentric clothes, and walls covered in graffiti. Commercials for things as ridiculous as the Church of Batman the Redeemer play non-stop on screens all around the city, and there is no escaping them. Kohen is fretful and hurriedly makes his way past all these to his workplace. He works for a large corporation called Mancom where he is a part of a team of programmers in the ontological research division working to solve complex data problems which are represented by cubes on a screen. His supervisor at Mancom is Joby. Kohen tells Joby that he is better off working from home as he can get more work done that way. While commuting to work, he also does not want to miss an important call he is expecting, but Joby insists that the decision is entirely upon their boss who is named management. But it is hard to get an appointment with management as he is an enigmatic and evasive individual. To either get a disability leave or permission to work from home, Kohen undergoes a medical evaluation from a team of company doctors. The doctors conclude that he is perfectly healthy physically. However, since he always refers to himself in the plural and is highly eccentric in his manner of thought and speech, the doctors recommend a psychiatric evaluation from an AI shrink. Later, Joby invites Kohen to a party he is hosting. When he arrives, Kohen finds that it is a loud costume party where people are drinking and dancing. At the party, a woman approaches Kohen and compliments his looks. Getting disoriented due to the crowd, Joby stumbles through the mass into a quiet room and sits on a couch to rest. Suddenly and surprisingly, he finds management sitting hidden across him. He tells management that he wants to go home because he is better off left alone and can double his output from home. His main concern is that he might miss the call he is waiting for all his life. The call will tell him the purpose of his life which he feels is meaningless so far. Management calls Kohen insane, so he apologizes and leaves the room. Kohen tries to leave the party, but Joby does not let him go without eating. Joby shoves an olive into Kohen's mouth which makes him choke. While he is choking, he staggers into another room where management is standing camouflaged against the curtains. He has a job which is mutually beneficial for both. The woman from earlier comes to help him and gives him abdominal thrusts to dislodge the olive from his throat. The woman's name is Bainsley. The next day, Joby tells Kohen that his request to work from home has been accepted. He has been reassigned to work on the Zero Theorem, which is a very complex problem management is trying to solve for a long time but to no avail. Joby shows Kohen the center of management's operation, the AI supercomputer and neural network where all the entities which programmers are solving are being fed. There they meet a teenage prodigy hardware specialist named Bob. Joby gives the software to Kohen to begin his work on the Zero Theorem. Kohen starts working on the Zero Theorem. He must solve the theorem where he has to prove that 0 equals 100%. He tries to figure out the different components of the mathematical equation by trying to fit the right pieces of the formula at the right places, which is represented by blocks on a computer screen. He must process a part of the data at a time and upload it after certain time intervals. He spends months on the problem getting ever closer to solving the Zero Theorem but never quite reaching the target of making 0 equal 100%. In the meantime, Kohen is also attending therapy from the AI psychologist Dr. Shrink Ram for his different phobias like biophobia, agoraphobia, claustrophobia, autophobia, and many others. Kohen works relentlessly on the Zero Theorem which takes a toll on his mental and physical health. Management keeps pestering him with ever more demands for processing data, while he keeps on having nightmares involving a black hole. In the stress and frustration of not being able to complete the assignments, he has a meltdown and smashes his computer with a hammer. Since he has destroyed his workstation, management sends Joby to check on him. Joby fixes the computer and reconnects it to the World Wide Web. Kohen tells him that the Zero Theorem is unprovable, but Joby convinces him to keep working on it as he is getting closer to finally figuring out the equation. Joby sends Bainsley to see Cohen and help him regarding the phone call he is expecting. Bainsley breaks her nail on Cohen's keyboard, and she asks him to kiss her finger to make her feel better. He reluctantly obliges. Just then, Dr. Shrink Ram warns Cohen against Bainsley, but she shuts off the AI psychiatrist. Cohen opens up with Bainsley. While growing up, he thought he was different and unique, but he realized that his life is inconsequential like billions of other people's lives. One night he received a phone call and a mysterious voice on the other end called out his name to tell him his reason for existing. But in his excitement, he accidentally disconnected the phone. Ever since, Cohen has been waiting for that phone call to come again. Bob comes to visit Cohen. Management has assigned him to help Cohen, and he reveals that he is the only son of management. He knows that Cohen is being monitored by cameras, so he asks his father for the cameras to be turned off. According to Bob, management uses everyone including Joby, Bainsley, and Cohen as tools to get the job done. But he promises that if he returns to work, he is going to help Cohen get his phone call. Bainsley gives a virtual reality suit to Cohen so that he could plug into her website. He puts on the suit and logs in. With a head full of hair, he emerges on a tropical beach where Bainsley is waiting for him in a bikini with a bottle of champagne. They are both in their own homes using a computer, but their minds are connected into this virtual reality system where everything feels real. They start having fun and play in the water with a beach ball. Cohen seems to enjoy this experience, but he suddenly drowns. He is saved by Bainsley, who pulls him out and gives him CPR to save his life. They end up kissing each other. Bob tells Cohen that his father management is really keen on him because he is a good worker. He explains that by solving the Zero Theorem, Cohen is trying to prove that the universe is all for nothing. All matter, all energy, and all life are glitches of the Big Bang, so the expanding universe will eventually contract into a super-dense black hole, resulting in the universe to disappear. Cohen does not want to believe in such nihilistic theory even though Bob thinks it is accurate. Cohen tries the VR suit one more time in spite of being warned by his AI shrink against it. He meets Bainsley in the same beach from earlier where the sun never sets but stays in the horizon. Bainsley suggests Cohen to pick a different place to be in, so he uses his imagination and takes them near a black hole. Both of them get pulled into the black hole. When they get out of it, Cohen confesses his love for Bainsley and decides that they can stay in the virtual reality happily. Bainsley fears this prospect and warns Cohen that management will not allow it, so she pushes Cohen out of the VR program, leading the suit to malfunction. Bob takes the VR suit to fix it. In the meantime, Cohen logs into Bainsley's website without the suit. He discovers that Bainsley works as a webcam stripper, so he quickly turns off the computer. When he attempts to revisit the site, he finds that his access has been blocked. A few weeks later, Bob comes back with the VR suit. He authorizes the AI shrink to tell Cohen the truth about the phone call he is expecting, that it is just a figment of his imagination. He is delusional, and the AI was programmed to leave his pathology untreated. Bob tells Cohen that the call he is expecting is not supposed to be a phone call. Instead, it is a calling from the soul. Bob has tampered with the VR suit and has programmed it to connect to the soul. A distraught Bainsley visits Cohen, who is not happy to see her. She confesses that she did it at Joby's behest so that she could keep the VR suit as a reward. Bob comments that she is too pretty for an old guy like Cohen anyway. Though Cohen is dismissive of her, Bainsley says she wants to be with him and asks him to elope with her. Even Bob encourages Cohen to leave with Bainsley. However, Cohen says it's too late. To let off steam and to have some fun, Bob wants to take Cohen out with him. Cohen has not been outside for over a year since he started working on the Zero Theorem, but agrees to go out with Bob. Cohen tells Bob that he was once deeply in love with a girl and even married her, but she eventually divorced him. Bob confides in Cohen that he does not know any girl of his age, and his life is very boring. When they arrive back at Cohen's place, Bob falls very ill and has high fever. Rather than getting medical attention, Bob says a cool bath would help him feel better, but to no avail. When trying to lift Bob out of the bathtub, Cohen falls onto a cupboard and discovers that it was fitted with a surveillance camera. Cohen takes a hammer and smashes it, and then follows by smashing other cameras installed in various locations in his house. He barricades the door of his house and sits beside Bob. Management's henchmen break through the barricade and barge in so as to take Bob away. They warn Cohen that he is in big trouble. Shortly after, an outraged Joby arrives to tell that he got fired from his job because of Cohen. Cohen decides to try the VR suit which had been tinkered by Bob. Cohen is transported to the giant supercomputer where he had met Bob for the first time. Management informs him that Bob has been hospitalized and only a miracle could save him. Cohen wonders whether he is really there or he is inside a VR program, to which management answers that it does not matter as Cohen is part of the neural net now. Management says that nothing really matters as everything started with nothing and is going to end with nothing. But he needs to prove the Zero Theorem anyway because he wants to make money by trying to bring a semblance of order to the state of disorder the universe is in. It is chaos that will help him make money by exploiting people's need for order in their lives. Management chose Cohen for this project because unlike most people, Cohen is a man of faith and wanted to live a meaningful life. But in the wait of the phone call that will give Cohen a meaning of his existence, Cohen led a meaningless life. Now, management no longer requires Cohen's services. Infuriated by learning that he had been played with by management, Cohen starts throwing a fit, breaking everything in sight. The neural net gets destroyed, and Cohen finds that there is a black hole inside it. He jumps into the black hole. Cohen spawns at the same beach he was with Bainsley earlier, but this time he is alone. A beach ball floats towards him which he picks up and starts playing with. Then he starts playing with the sun itself as everything fades into dark. That is it for today's recap. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and check out the other videos from our channel.